You are absolutely not going to believe what landed in my inbox on what was supposed to be a perfectly normal Tuesday. There I am, minding my own business, going about my day, when my phone buzzes with an email from PayPal telling me I just authorized a charge of $239.04 for an Amazon Prime subscription. Now, I want to be very clear about something. I did not order Amazon Prime. I did not authorize anything. And the moment I saw that email, every alarm bell in my brain started ringing at once, because I have seen this exact setup before. This is a scam, a classic textbook recycled scam that has been making the rounds for years. But here's where things got interesting, because instead of deleting that email and moving on with my life, I decided to do something a little different. I decided to pick up the phone and call the number listed in that email, because I wanted to see exactly how deep this rabbit hole went and what these scammers were really after. So Sherlock mode officially activated. The moment someone picked up, a woman greeted me with the most professionally rehearsed customer service voice you have ever heard in your life. She asked me to verify the charge, confirm the amount, and then she wanted my name, so I gave her one, Mike Player. Mike Player from the Himalayas, to be precise, with a zip code of 90210, because why not go all in? She typed it all down without missing a beat. Then came the next phase of the script. She put me on hold to run a, quote, full security check. And when she came back, the story had already expanded dramatically. Suddenly, my PayPal account wasn't just showing one suspicious charge. According to her, there were 3 separate PayPal accounts registered under my name, being accessed from Ohio, New York, and Texas. She was painting a picture of full-blown identity theft, and she was doing it with so much confidence and urgency that if I were a real victim, I might have completely panicked right then and there. But I wasn't panicking. I was taking notes. She told me my personal information had been compromised and that a hacker was out there creating fraudulent accounts in my name. She asked if I had ever lost my wallet or shared my passwords with anyone, and I told her, and this is where I really gave her something to work with, that yes, actually, a pickpocket had once stolen my wallet, and inside that wallet was a little notepad where I kept all my passwords written down, because my son told me I should always have them written somewhere safe. You could almost hear the excitement in her voice. That was exactly the kind of vulnerability these scammers are looking for, a confused, slightly panicked older person who might have genuinely compromised their own information without realizing it. The trap was being set, and I was playing my role beautifully. Then she dropped the next move. She explained that PayPal itself was not authorized to cancel pre-authorized transactions, so they would need to transfer my call directly to the fraud department at my bank, which just happened to be Wells Fargo, a name I had casually dropped earlier in the conversation. And just like that, I was transferred. A new voice came on the line. Calm, professional, welcoming. Her name was Rose. She introduced herself as a representative from the Wells Fargo fraud department, ready to help me sort out this terrible situation that had befallen poor old Mike Player from the Himalayas. She asked me to verify my date of birth, the last 4 digits of my social security number, and my current account balance, and I gave her numbers, fake ones. But numbers that sounded just real enough to keep the whole game going, including a balance of over $223,000 sitting in my checking account. Because if you are going to bait a scammer, you might as well make the bait worth chasing. Rose was thorough. She asked about my banking habits, whether I did online banking, what kind of device I used, whether it was a laptop or a desktop, and she was slowly but very deliberately steering the entire conversation toward one thing: getting access to my computer. She walked me through opening Google Chrome, navigating to an address she spelled out letter by letter, a remote access website called UltraViewer, and she wanted me to download it. That right there is the moment everything clicks into focus. This was never about a $239 PayPal charge. This was never about Amazon Prime. The whole elaborate performance, the fake PayPal email, the identity theft story, the transfer to a fake Wells Fargo fraud department, all of it was designed to get one thing: remote access to a victim's computer so they could drain that bank account completely. Rose eventually handed me off to a so-called senior supervisor named Brian Wilson, yes, Brian Wilson, from the Wells Fargo fraud department, delivered with complete seriousness. and Brian picked up right where Rose left off. He wanted to send my case details to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, which required yet another round of identity verification. He needed a valid ID attached to the case file. He needed to confirm which device I was currently using. He needed to keep me on that phone, keep me engaged, keep me moving through their script one step at a time, because that is exactly how this works. These scammers are not winging it. They have a process, a flow, a funnel, and every single question they ask is designed to move you closer to the moment you hand over either your personal documents or access to your computer. The moment that happens, the game is over and you lose. And that is when I broke character. I asked Brian very plainly how long did he think he was going to be able to keep this going. He fumbled. He tried to redirect. He asked me which device I was using again, and I told him the truth, that I knew exactly what he was doing, that I knew he was trying to get access to my $223,000 sitting in that account, and that it was not going to happen today. The silence on the other end of that line was genuinely satisfying, because scammers like Brian and Rose count on confusion, fear, and urgency. They count on you being too flustered to slow down and think. The moment you take away that fear and replace it with clarity, their entire script collapses. So let me break down exactly what happened in this call from start to finish, because understanding the structure of this scam is what is going to protect you and the people you love. It started with a phishing email disguised as an official PayPal notification, complete with a fake charge and a phone number to call. The number connects you to scammers posing as PayPal customer support who build a story of identity theft around you using vague and alarming language about multiple accounts, multiple states, and compromised personal data. Once they have your fear and attention, they transfer you to a second group of scammers posing as your bank's fraud department, who then verify enough personal information to either steal your identity outright or use that information to manipulate you further. And then comes the final play, remote access software. Once they are inside your computer, they can access your banking apps, transfer funds, lock you out of your own accounts, and disappear before you even realize what happened. The people running these operations are organized, patient, and unfortunately very good at what they do. They know how to sound official, they know how to manufacture urgency, they know which emotions to trigger, fear of losing money, embarrassment about being a victim, trust in authority figures like bank representatives. They are counting on the fact that most people will not stop and question whether the person on the other end of the line is actually who they say they are. And the truth is, no legitimate company, not PayPal, not Wells Fargo, not Amazon, not the FTC, will ever call you out of the blue, transfer you between departments, ask you to download remote access software, or request your full social security number and bank balance over the phone to verify a fraud case. That combination of actions is the scam every single time. Here is what you should do if this email or anything like it ever lands in your inbox. Do not call any phone number listed inside the email. If you are genuinely concerned about a charge on your PayPal account, open a new browser tab, go directly to paypal.com, and log in to check your account activity yourself. If you want to reach your bank, call the number printed on the back of your debit card. Hang up on anyone who transfers you between departments and asks you to download anything onto your computer. And please, please, if you have elderly parents or grandparents in your life, sit down with them and walk them through exactly how this works, because these scammers specifically target people who may be less familiar with how legitimate institutions actually communicate. Knowledge is the only defense that actually works here. Mike Player walked away from this call with his $223,000 fake dollars completely intact and hopefully with a few laughs along the way. But the scammers on the other end of that line are still out there, still dialing, still running the exact same script on real victims every single day. Share this video with someone who needs to see it. It could genuinely save them from a devastating loss. And if you enjoyed watching Sherlock Homie work, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. Because these scammers are not slowing down, and neither are we. 2/2.